adversity. We come from the university of run, run, let's have fun, undone. We have become from the sum of all evils. We go dumb and then we say, some people. Did you judge your brother? That's not lovely. You don't love your mother? That's not lovely. If you're holding a grudge, then drop it and reach forward towards whatsoever things are lovely. Don't love money because that's not lovely. You might sell your life into the service thereof. Wherefore set your sights on the kingdom above, and everything of this world will be taken care of. Give up to gluttony? That's not lovely. Are you getting drunk on bubbly? That's not lovely. If you're taking those drugs, then stop it and reach forward towards whatsoever things are lovely. Mind your tongue, young one, only speak when invited. You strum chords and get excited, fire will be ignited. I don't deny it, I rap, you can play that back. I only ask you to forgive if I offend, amen. Are you telling lies and slander? That's not lovely. Are you trying to philander? That's not lovely. If you pander to the flesh, get off it and reach forward towards whatsoever things are lovely. Curse words? Did you stop attending church? If you're doing worse things, come off it and reach forward towards whatsoever things are lovely. Greetings, everybody. I am Young Penitent, and welcome to my Icon Corner. The song you just heard was off of my debut album, Christian Rap, which is not available anywhere. There's only a few of these left in a box in my closet, and so someday I might put these up on Amazon for $100 each or something like that. You get a collector's item. Is anybody watching? Let me see if there's anybody watching. Say hello in the chat. Do I have Rogue Splice in the chat? Give me a present. So today I am doing a solo stream today, and this is why I started my channel. I wanted to have a way to speak in public, to practice my chops as a public speaker, and that is what live streaming on YouTube exactly is. Today I'm going to be reviewing the events from the past week. I had a tweet go viral. I'm going to go over that, break it down, explain what happened for everyone who missed it. There is a twist in the story that you will find out as I tell it. So stick around if you want to find out what that twist in the story was. Before I get to all that, I would like to give my audience an insight that I have into human nature. So human beings exist on a continuum with respect to how much a person cares what other people think of them. Some people care a lot, and they will go so far as to even exclude the circle of people who they associate with, so as not to be seen or to be associated themselves with people who they see as beneath them. So these are the people who you would term maybe popular people, cool kids, the in crowd, that kind of thing. And so they will not talk to someone if they don't see them as high enough and up to their level. And then there are other people who they don't care so much, and maybe they will befriend anybody, maybe even if they're lowly type person, maybe someone who is someone who cleans toilets, at the place where you work. I work in a hospital, and there's sometimes a doctor will go up and say, thank you to the people who's cleaning the toilet. But other doctors might just say, well, they won't even really give them the time of day. And actually, there's a little bit of I want to tell a story from my past. So I know this. I remember when I was in elementary school, I went through a period of time where, for a short period of time, I decided I was only going to hang with the cool kids. So during recess, I went out onto the playground, and I was just standing in a circle with the cool kids. And since that's what I was doing, people thought I was cool for a little while. When I was doing that, they thought I was cool. But pretty soon I got tired of this, and I said, what am I doing? I'm just going to go and, play with the kids that I want to play with. I don't really care what people think of me. Now, women in general, they are more collectivist. They kind of follow the herd. So women are more susceptible to this, what I would see as a weakness. Men take risks. They go out on their own. And so they might do something that the rest of the people, the herd, might not, they might be wondering what that person is doing. But does the church have any view on this idea? Well, there is a scripture which I have pulled out, and it is Romans 12:16. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. So the point is, you really shouldn't care if a person is cool or they see him as an in person or a popular person or whatever. You should actually condescend to men of low estate. You should associate with low people. And these are the people who I think Christ would describe as, in the gospel, as people who are poor in spirit. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And so when I had this tweet that went viral, and for the most part, I'll just say it out front, for the most part, people were not happy with me because of what I wrote on it. But it got over 100,000 views. Most of the responses were extremely negative, but I didn't really care. I still don't care. I don't really care that much on this continuum of caring what people think of me. I tend toward to the side of I just really don't care. Now, and maybe this is a gift. Maybe actually you can maybe take this too far, where you go and you're a psychopath, and psychopaths, they just don't have any empathy for people. And hopefully I'm not that far on the continuum, but I really didn't care. And I actually saw this tweet with everybody getting mad at me, the whole world, getting mad at me. I saw this as a win for young penitent. And why is that? My main purpose for being online and having this public personality is my YouTube channel, and I want to proclaim Jesus Christ. I'm trying to preach the gospel. I'm bringing on clergy and people who are experienced in spiritual life, educational material, because while it's still possible to talk about Jesus Christ on the internet, which may someday not be possible, I'm just taking advantage of it. Jesus Christ is God. And if you believe in him, you follow him, you can inherit eternal life at the end of the road. So that's the point. That's what this all serves. That's what I'm doing here. So this tweet, I somehow, even though people seem to not like it, I doubled my subscribers on X, went from about 100 to about 200, something like that. And I'll even show you here, my subscribers on YouTube have seen quite a nice bump. So let me bring that one up just to show people my analytics here. As you can see right here, I've like just this, I haven't even made any content for like a week or two, and I have this nice bump here. I probably had like 30 people subscribe in the last week, which when you're not making any content, that is actually, so this is a gift for me. And I was in now maybe I was on your radar before, maybe you might have heard of Young Penitent, but now there's a place in people's brain where people recognize me now. And they say, what is it? No publicity is bad publicity. So I was, this algorithm was pushing this tweet out for two, 3 whole days at a time. And I was in people's mind for that whole time. So now people know who I am. How you like me now? So let me go into the tweet, and I'm going to just break down, give you guys a little analysis. People kind of like a little narration where you somehow, you go, you do a stream, you browse some videos or something on the internet, and you narrate and you give people your thoughts. People like that. It's kind of a nice, relaxing thing to watch. So that's the service I'm providing you here today. So let me pull up another screen, and we'll go over to X, formerly Twitter. Okay, so I like this better. So here's my profile, link there, and I'm gonna go down to actually, first, before I go and show what that tweet was, I want to highlight something here, because if I had tried to do this, if I actually like intentionally tried to go viral with the tweet, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't do it again if I tried. This was just the algorithm, for whatever reason. Maybe God had a hand in, maybe the devil, maybe, I have a theory about that, and I'm going to tell you about that theory. But for whatever reason, this happened. But I actually tried to send a tweet this Sunday instead of past Sunday that I thought would get people riled up. And I'm going to show you here what that was. Bring it back up again. I'm going to just read it out loud. I'm narrating here. So I tried to do a tweet that would get people riled up. I said, my mom took the 23andMe test, and it turns out that one of my ancestors owned a cotton plantation in Mississippi. Who knew? So I thought that would get people riled up. Like, it's sort of a joke kind of thing, even though it's true. But there's no quote tweets. It didn't get much interaction. So it just goes to show that, you don't know what is going to, this is like it even kind of looks like, what are those, a slot machine. All this social media stuff is designed, they say, kind of like a gambling to get you addicted. And unfortunately, I might be addicted to X from now on because this happened. So maybe X just wanted me to work for them, because that's their whole point is to keep people on the platform. So if you get people riled up, they'll be on there and see what happened. And so that's what happened. So here's the tweet. I'll just click it, and I'm going to read it once because I don't want to relive this too much, this traumatic experience that I went through. The prayer of the worst monk has 100 times the power of the prayer of a non-monastic, even though he be righteous. Now, this is what got people riled up. I think if I had could do the tweet again, I would probably, I might take off this last part. I would probably delete, even though he'd be righteous. But still, like, I just don't get it. Like, why is this riling people up? I mean, I don't really understand what's going on here, honestly. I don't really see why this is so, why this is so bad. What are people so upset about, really? And the story is, I was trying to remember a quote from some saint. I didn't remember where it was from. It was something I read, maybe something I heard somewhere. I didn't remember. And I'll tell you the story with the twist at the end, or once I get to it, about how I eventually found that that quote, which kind of saved me, because people were like, "Oh, he's just making stuff up." As you can see, this guy said no saint ever. Okay, so, and the replies are actually kind of funny, or I mean, you can see some of the replies that people. I'll find them here. Here's this one. I'm gonna have to pick on this person actually, but I thought that this was not. This is not a reply that I thought was funny. So I'm going to pick on this person, Theo West. This person says, "I care what God thinks. He has no respect of persons. But since you think pedo monk prayers are better than those of devout laity, I suggest you join the Catholic Church. Pope Francis and his gay pedo cabal will welcome you." Okay, so who said anything about pedo monk prayers and gay pedo? Like, where is that coming from this original tweet? Like, monks, why are people think bad thoughts of monks? I don't really understand that. I have had nothing but good interactions with monks. Maybe some people out there have had less than good interactions. But this Theo West person apparently is Orthodox, a Orthodox Christian woman, former Catholic theology teacher. Okay, so if this woman who teaches theology is telling me to go join the Catholic Church, she has her theology wrong. She should not be teaching, and she should not be, quote, trying to be corrective. It says right here. Okay, so a woman is correcting me. What does the Bible say about women and teaching? And I think Brother Nathaniel recently did a tweet about this. Not a tweet, but a short. I think I have the scripture written here somewhere in my disjointed notes. In the first chapter of Timothy, chapter 2:12, sorry, my notes are kind of poor. In any case, I'll just try to go from memory again. The Apostle Paul does not suffer a woman to teach, and nor to usurp authority over the man. They should be quiet. Okay, so to this woman theology teacher who thinks I should join the Catholic Church, you should not be correcting a man on a public square like this. You should go home and ask your husband. I'm just picking on that one person. I'm not going to pick on any other people the rest of the stream, but that was really the only reply that kind of got to me. So Orthodox Review says, "Can it, lady? The men are talking." He's quoting Chris A. I'm not sure who Chris A is, but that's the point, especially in public like this. So now I understand that this woman has, maybe she has some followers on, maybe she has some followers on X, but I don't have a lot of followers on X, but I have a decent amount on YouTube, and YouTube gives you the power to come on and explain yourself like this in face-to-face fashion. And I would like to add that YouTube takes a lot more work than X, you just write a little bit and you tweet it off and voila. But YouTube is actually the hardest platform to break into. It takes a lot more work, but it also gives a lot more rewards. Let's see it. Now I want to go and we'll just do some more of this. Just kind of having fun narrating what was happening on, go to my profile. What were people saying? Let's see. I had some. Here's some of the fun ones. This guy, okay, making fun of me. I'm a clown. Okay, great. Contender for the worst internet orthodox tweet of the year. And I think that is a badge of honor. Thank you, sir. Point and laugh, everybody. This is the kind of thing that I was dealing with for a whole day or two. And source, I made it up. Great. Okay. Yeah, well, true. I didn't really make it up, but let's see. I'm kind of losing my train here. I'll get I didn't make it up. That's right. So the idea is, I mean, do I even stand a lot of these jokes were people saying, let me go back to it. I'm not done. I'm even going to excoriate myself here. Just see, like, if you look at the quotes, how do you view the quotes of this? And it's just people just making fun of me. No, I made it up. Okay. Here's a funny one, beard force. So like people unleashes the power of the Orthodox beard, and it's over 9,000. I don't know what that is. So people were really kind of taking issue with the word power. They kind of lashed onto that word. Like this kind of stuff. This is my prayer power times 100. All this kind of stuff. And like people make some like Dungeons and Dragons references and stuff like that. So this was fun. This is good for my humility. Some people actually liked the tweet, believe it or not. I didn't understand that, so it kind of divided people. But let's focus on the word power here for a little bit. Because like people took issue with using the word power. Like, is there more power in one person's prayer than in others? Okay, so quantitatively, yes. Qualitatively, no. And I'll make a comparison. So sin, for example, sin is sin. If you sin, it's a sin. It's just a whole category. But according to the Apostle John, there are sins unto death and sins not unto death. So there is gradations in the degree of a sin. Some are worse than others, right? So I believe the basic premise of the tweet is actually true. Some people's prayers you could even use the word power. Maybe another word could be efficacious. Compare a person who doesn't know God. When I didn't know God, I prayed to God. I said a prayer. I didn't even know where it was coming from. And I asked God to have mercy on me. God heard the prayer. Now, that was years before I became Orthodox, and that prayer led to me becoming Orthodox probably. But a person who doesn't know God versus someone who is Orthodox and knows God, that prayer, they know God better, they know how to pray better, they know what to ask for better, and God will hear them. It's like we have kind of more direct, the more you know God, the more direct your communication is, and he will be more likely, and especially if you have a righteous life, okay, he'll be more likely to hear what you're saying and respond to the prayer. And a monk whose whole life is consecrated to God, a consecrated life. Okay, so if that monk is praying to God and that prayer is pleasing to God, he will hear that prayer more likely than someone who does not know God, and even someone who knows God but maybe is not to that level. How about another example? The Mother of God. We pray, we use our prayer rope, and we say, Most Holy Theotokos, save us. To no other saint does anybody say, save us. It's only the Mother of God, because her prayers are so powerful. You can look into in the services, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. You can read prayers to not only to God, to the Theotokos. Our prayers are filled with the word power. It's scattered throughout the scripture. So don't come to me and start saying, oh, don't start making fun of me because I'm using the word power. It's in our liturgical language. So does prayer have power? Yes. Some prayer has more power than others. People don't like this because a lot of the people on X apparently are married, and it was married people or people who want to get married who are taking offense. But listen to this: if you're married, you have consolations that a monk doesn't have. Okay, you have your wife or your husband, you have your children, you probably have a job to support that children, so you're making some money. You have a certain status in society. People who have a family, let's face it, when you start a family like that, your status, you kind of are accepted by the society around you. They give you more credence. So you have consolations. You have your consolations. A monk, his only consolation is prayer. That's his consolation. Don't take that away from him. I started talking about monks. I'm a proponent of monasticism, okay? And I started, where am I? I started posting about monasticism after this. I had all eyes on me for a little while, and I didn't tuck tail and run. I took advantage of the opportunity. I kept tweeting. Before this happened, my tweets would get maybe 10, 20 views. And since then, almost every other tweet gets thousands of views. I would have considered couple thousand views viral before. But now it seems like every other tweet is going viral, well, according to my former standards. But let me show you this again. Going back to X. So I started posting about monasticism. Before getting married, you need to give monasticism some serious consideration. You can thank me later. What is stopping you from becoming a monk? This one got 8,000 views, a lot of engagement. There's my album, showing the album. I noticed that my interviews with monastics had an uptick on my YouTube analytics, so I posted about that. I posted this movie. I reposted Subdeacon John about this movie that really looks great, amazing, The Holy Archipelago. And so I am trying to get people interested in monasticism. A lot of you people out there who are watching YouTube content right now are young men. You're not married. You don't have your life is set out in front of you. You haven't decided what you're going to do yet. Okay, so maybe if you know in your heart that you want a family, that's fine. That's from God. Go do it. That's your calling. Go find a wife. Go get married. Do it. I encourage that. But if you don't know, maybe you actually want to be a monk. Maybe that's a thought in your heart. I've talked to monks before. I've met many monks. I say, why did you want to become a monk? What made you? And they just answered, well, I always wanted to be a monk. I just knew in my heart. So if you know in your heart that you want to get married, that could be a calling from God. Just listen to it. If you know in your heart that you want to be a monk, listen to that. If you don't know, if you haven't decided yet, or you're not sure, you should give monasticism some serious thought. You should visit some monasteries. You should think like what you're looking for is a spiritual father, someone who you can work with. Actually, you're looking for who your spiritual father is. In my case, that's how when when I found my spiritual father, I felt it was like, it's not that I'm deciding, it's just that I'm recognizing that is my spiritual father. Similar to how you recognize the person who's going to be your wife. This is just God ordained it, God chose this person to be your wife. I sort of feel like my spiritual father is that way. God just chose. Before, I didn't choose it. It was God. Good. Another good comment from Orthodox Review. We also need more nuns. Yeah, so this is not just, when I say monastics, monks, that can also be for nuns. Monastic, you could consider a nun a monk, kind of same thing, same difference. And some people want to know, why am I talking about monasticism? Someone asked me, are you a monk? Well, not technically. I'm not a monk in terms of having, gone through that process and gone tantric or anything. But my spiritual father told me that I'm a monk. He just said, you are a monk. That's just what he considers me. And I went and got a second opinion. I went and saw an elder in the Greek church who is rumored to be clairvoyant, and I laid my case before this elder, the eldress actually, and she said that if I continue on the path I'm on, I will be considered a monk in the kingdom of heaven. So I feel like I'm a monk in my heart, and that is why I am such a proponent of this. And and it's actually probably a good thing that I'm not a monk, because I'm using the internet, and maybe a monk really shouldn't be on Twitter having battles, so maybe God had a purpose for me. Maybe that's why he didn't put me in the monastery, and those reasons I'm not going into at this moment. But so what else? Okay, what was I saying? Okay, moving on. So I got the quote wrong, though. And now here's the twist in the story. Okay, so I'm kind of, people are saying, where'd you get it from? You don't remember the quote. Okay, all right. They got me there. People are, oh, you made it up. I didn't make it up. And how did I find the quote? I started looking through the last book I read. I couldn't find it there. And I was really in trouble. And then here's the twist. Let me bring up another screen here. Share, handy dandy, share screen. Okay. I'm just going to share the whole thing here. And go to Orthodox Talks. Is that good? So look at this site. This is something that I recommend. This is a website that I recommend, a YouTube channel. Orthodox Talks by Priest Monk Cosmos. And this guy has like 80 plus videos on here. And they're just videos of his talks. They're audio only. And you can also get this in podcast form. Just search Orthodox Talks. Each one of these talks is 4 to 5 hours on average. Okay. And so the story is, one of my friends was listening to a priest. He just picked a random priest monk Cosmos talk to listen to, and he was listening through it. And then he sent me a screenshot, and he said he did a screenshot of what he was listening to, and he said, he says right here exactly what you said in your tweet. What are the chances out of hundreds and hundreds of hours, maybe thousands of hours of talks, he just happened to click and listen to the one talk that had the quote in it. And I'm gonna just play that quote. Now this might get me, hopefully Father Cosmos doesn't tell me to take down this video because I'm gonna play a brief clip, but I clipped it. So I'm just gonna play the clip of what he said, where it came from. This is where it comes from here. I'm going to just play it for everybody.
Saint Nikolai Velimirovich did not like the idea of monastics going to universities. The reason for this, even though he was the most educated, a very educated man, the reason for this is that they later leave their monasteries to pursue an ecclesiastical career. While Saint Nikolai was under house arrest in a monastery, he was removed from his diocese by the Nazis. He said to a high monk, "If I ever return to my duties, I will dismantle the seminaries. Not only will I dismantle them, but I will also wipe out the name seminary." When they asked him, "Where will the priests go then? Where will they go and learn?" He answered, "They will go to the monasteries to learn how to serve God. The worst monk has more prayer than the best parish priest."
So there it is. It's not the exact same quote. The worst monk has more prayer than the best parish priest. Okay. Oh, was that an echo? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Oh, should I play it again? Was it that bad that you couldn't hear it? I can play it one more time. In any case, we're moving on. I'm not going backwards. He said the worst monk has more prayer than the best parish priest. And that's the clip. Which, okay, it's not the exact same quote, of course. I got it wrong, but the idea is the same. Which, is it the exact same thing? No. But it's in the same ballpark, right? So don't come to me and start making fun of me and saying he's making stuff up, because there it is. I proved. I made a. I'll just bring up the. Here's the. I'll just show the meme. I got the meme posted up on my X, so. Pull this up here. The worst monk has more prayer than the best parish priest. Saint Nikolai Velimirovich. So that was it. That was my that was the story there. If you're watching now, please like the stream, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to go through a few comments here. It seems I might have missed some things that were addressed to me. Here's a great comment. Texas Range Rider. Until monasticism is populated in every state, orthodoxy will really will not take root in America. I agree. Silver Pie says, I understand now. And that's why you came to watch the stream. More prayer, not better. Folks don't pay close enough attention. So, another one. Parish priests wouldn't have lost their minds on Twitter because they probably have a little bit of peace. But, well, I don't know if people were losing their minds, but they're just disagreeing. You know, that's fine. So let's see, what is this? Young Penitent, are you going to have Brother Nathaniel come back on again? That last interview was great. We'll see. We'll see about that. So I'm not making a value judgment on your prayer, on your life. You know, you're in the struggle that God has put you in, and that's where you're supposed to be. but we should value monastics. The Lord will not hold those who deride monasticism free of guilt. What else did I have to say? So what is my theory about what is going on here? One theory I have is that the devil has seen my channel bearing fruit. People are benefiting from the content that is being put out, and the devil wanted to try to strike me a blow, to try to take me down, to stop me. But as you see, I didn't take the tweet down. I didn't stop tweeting. I didn't hide my profile. My dad raised me to be tough. He made a point of that. I'm tough. I can take a little bit of criticism. Okay. And everything that happens to me, I deserve. That's one theory. Another theory is that, well, maybe they're not mutually exclusive theories. Well, maybe that tweet kind of does show my one of my weaknesses. Actually, my greatest weakness, my spiritual malady. I'm going to confess to you my spiritual malady here. The root of my spiritual malady is spiritual pride. And you can even read it in the tweet. Maybe I have this even monastic pride, you could say, since considering myself a monastic. Maybe I'm proud of that. Okay, I admit it. I confess to you. Public confession actually can wipe out sins. And maybe this tweet, having my weakness, my faults displayed all over the internet, maybe that will wipe out some of my sins. Maybe I deserve it. I probably deserve it. Like I said, I deserve everything that happens to me. So I'm not saying, I can't be criticized. No, it's fine. Criticize away. Criticize all you want. And by the way, even though this quote is just referring to parish priests, don't think that doesn't mean it doesn't apply to your average everyday layman too. Because do you think you have more prayer than your parish priest? No, you don't. Your parish priest has more prayer than you. Admit it. So even if St. Nikolai is referring to the parish priests, the statement would also hold true for all of you laymen and women out there. So, there's the breakdown of it. I have all these disjointed notes that I'm looking at. I'm sure I'm missing out on plenty of things. Probably forgot to say stuff. Questions. Okay, yes, I'm welcoming questions from the chat. Here we are. What was Yaakov says? What was your first visit to a monastery like? Okay. So the first monastery I visited was All Merciful Savior Monastery on Vashon Island, and it was like right away after I got baptized. Almost, I got baptized around Pascha in 2006, and that summer I went up and visited Abbot Trifon and Father Paul. Those were the two that were there. And when I knocked, I arranged for it as I followed the protocol that my priest had taught me. He said, when you're first visiting a monastery, you should have the priest contact the monastery for you because they don't know who you are. So I had my priest contact the monastery, set up a day and a time to arrive. I showed up, I knocked on the door, and Abbot Trifon opens the door. And I say, "Hi, I'm Daniel. My priest, arranged for me to come here." And he says, "What? I don't remember any priest contact. We don't have a place for you." I had just driven 4 or 5 miles for 4 or 5 hours to get there, and they weren't expecting me. And so I said, "Well, I have a tent. I brought a tent. I'll set it up." And he said, "Oh, You know, eventually, okay, fine. I went and set up the tent. And as soon as I finished setting up the tent, Father Paul comes out to me right when I was done putting on the tarp. I mean the fly. I said, he comes out and he says, we prepared a bed for you. So yeah, that began my relationship with the monastery. And I have gone to many other monasteries, you know, Holy Trinity, Holy Cross Monastery. I've been to Platina. I've been to St. Silouan's, which isn't really a monastery anymore. I've been to Mount Athos. I've been all over. So I've had some experiences I've had over the years. There's OBG in the chat. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad. I'm actually surprised that there's no like hecklers, which is kind of nice. This is a very friendly chat here. So thank you, guys. Thank you for that. I guess, you know, I'm not getting as much blowback here because sometimes that can derail me. Here's a good comment. It's good to ask the monks and nuns for their prayer. I agree. So what do you think of a lay monastic community? Interesting idea. Well, you'd want to do it with the blessing of a bishop, probably, or your priest, under direction. I mean, well, a lay monastic community, maybe not ideal, but a lay brotherhood, I am a big proponent of lay brotherhoods. We have like a informal men's group in our parish, and it's a good source of support for people. So not lay monastic brotherhoods, but maybe just lay brotherhoods in general, I do support, and there's a number of those out there. St. Silouan's is now St. Catherine of Sinai Monastery for women. There is currently the Mother Superior and one novice. Yes, so I would like to get the Mother Superior on my channel eventually, hopefully. I'm working on that in the long range time frame, hopefully at some point. But sorry, I don't want to be this is not like a takedown of married people. I don't want to be like that. I'm not trying to be down on people. That's just how people took it. But I do want to encourage the thought that I didn't finish was there's a lot of young men out there, you know, and just what you should do is go and just give it a thought. Go visit monasteries. Spend a few days first. Go to a three-day visit, then try to do a longer visit if you think it might be better for you. And eventually, just give it a shot, you know. And like I said, you'll be happy that you did. Was there anything else that I wanted to share from my timeline here? I do want to. Okay, so I'm not going to share a link to this following. I'm going to show you guys a website, but I'm not posting a link. I tried to post a link to this. It's a blog. Okay, so I have a little small informal blog, and I don't really push it too much. It's sort of like a hidden thing that I share with friends and whatnot. But I'm just going to show it to you. I'm not going to provide a link. I tried to provide a link to this blog on Facebook, but Facebook immediately took it down because I think they deemed that one of my articles had misinformation on it. So I'm going to just do a little test. I'm just testing this out. If you really want to see what I wrote, you're going to have to just go and listen to what I'm saying here, and you're just going to have to go and look it up yourself. Sorry. So here is my humble blog. I open, And I recently wrote this article, Prepare to Die. I think it's a good article. So maybe if you want to find out where this is, the website is countmeup.blogspot.com. So the word count, the word me, the word up.blogspot.com. All one word though. And if you're really curious how I am as a writer, I mean, I've got many things, I'm a poet. I can do a little bit of writing. I can speak in public, which is probably speaking in public. Not everybody can do that. Put your face out there and just start talking in front of an audience. And when I was a rapper, I rapped in front of up to 80 people at once, which is not a huge crowd, but it's more than most people have seen. So I can do public speaking, which is not something to wave your finger at, so so here I am doing that today. This is my fun time, having a solo episode. Here's another quote. The body at work, but the thought with God. Such should be the state of a true Christian. Saint Theophan the Recluse. So, did I leave anything out? I'm certain that I did. I'm sure I did. I probably left something out. Whoops. But didn't mute my phone. Okay, but I think I'm winding down my stream today. So was what I said true? Like I said, there's truth to it. I'm not saying it's like it's not some exact formula, but like the spiritual life in a monastery is about 100 times as intense as a layperson in the community. And I think not as a sweeping all true statement, but as a general rule, I think that their prayers are more probably heard more. So I'm doubling down on the statement is what I'm saying here. Maybe minus the part about the righteous. Doesn't mean you can't become a saint if you're a lay person, but that's what I said and I'm sticking to it. Question by Tyler. I have myself made a few icons for my home. Is this something that is frowned upon? So no. Well, it depends on. Okay, so there's two ways that you can make an icon. You could have painted an icon yourself, so generally officially you're supposed to, if you're painting icons, you're supposed to have a blessing officially, okay? But if you're an artist and you want to just do it for your own, just for your own pastime and maybe try to develop the skill a little bit, I would just say go ahead. If you're printing an icon out from your computer, that's fine. The only thing I would say is you want to treat the icon, the images, respectfully. So once it's printed out, you don't want to just like wrap it up. If you don't like it, you can't just crunch it up in a ball and throw it away. Icons like pictures of saints, they should not be thrown in the trash. You should have them burned and collect the ashes and put them somewhere where they will not be trampled underfoot. But yeah, it's perfectly fine to print out. If OBG has any, she makes icons. So if she has anything to say about that, feel free to put a comment in the chat. Sword from the Mouse says, I think the most controversial part of the tweet was the part about the worst monastic. People took that to the extreme of possible worst. I don't know how that kind of thing works. Well, again, that was actually the wording that Saint Nikolai, I get the impression that he's just a straight shooter. Like, this guy, no nonsense kind of guy. And that was the word that he used. So, I mean, if you want to argue that point, die, go to heaven, and you can go argue with St. Nicholas in heaven. Another good comment. A true monastic will consider himself the worst of monks. I'll take that to heart. I'll consider myself the worst of monks. How about that? I am the worst of monks. False humility aside. So we got up almost to an hour. I thought this was, I didn't know I was going to carry on that long, but so I have a couple interviews I'm working on, and I'm not quitting. I'm going to push through, and I'm taking advantage of this publicity, and so that's my stream for the day. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see y'all next time. And forgive me if I offended you. I really mean that. So goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching.